It's a good evening from the Niners DNA team. It's Friday night here, 8:40 p.m. It's almost 2:40 p.m. 2:40 a.m. in San Francisco. I've got Jono here with me. Just the two of us tonight to do the Rams preview. It's week 8 and big injury news with Deebo Samuel maybe not playing. How are you, Jono?
I am good, mate. It's been a big week. I've just got the dog going off in the background, but all is well.
Excellent. Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. So I've got the injury report on my other screen over here, and I'll just go from Thursday. So did not participate in practice. Armstead, Greenlaw, Dwan Jennings, hamstring. Juszczyk probably be out his finger. Wide receiver Deebo Samuel, big one. Full participation on Wednesday. Thursday. Jimmy Ward, Trent Williams, and that's about it. So what are your initial thoughts on this game, Jono? What are some initial thoughts, knowing that we'll be going into some other subjects later, but just do you think we can win it?
I do. I think we can. I would, bet I'm sort of betting that Deebo's not going to play.
Yeah, same.
I don't think he's going to be part of the action. I think he probably, in fairness, he probably needs a mental spell. I've got to say that his performance, I guess his effort in pass blocking or run blocking, at least, it just doesn't seem to be at the level of effort that I've seen from him in the past. There seems to be there's a difference in what I'm seeing on the film, which I don't know whether he has been carrying an injury or whether I don't know, it's an attitude thing or it's what it is. It just doesn't seem to be what he is. So I think he probably needs a spell at this point. The drops that he's had have us. He's contributed to the fact that we are the worst team in terms of drops in the whole NFL. And he's not playing well. Like he is out of form. So him out of the game. Although he had a huge impact in the game that we played against the Rams. I think probably allows the game plan to focus around Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Aiyuk, who's quietly having a really. I think it seems like he's starting to break out. He's starting to be a guy that we can rely on, and he seems like a frustrated player at the moment. And George Kittle, who continues to be involved in that pass game more and more. So I think it may prove advantageous, albeit a bit of a kick in the backside that he's not playing.
I think Deebo's off season. Well, sorry, let me start again. I think the way that Deebo is playing is a product of the off season that he had. A lot of that stuff around, taking all the pictures down and all the second guessing, and he came in overweight. He came in not in the best shape. He's got his bag of money, so he's obviously making. You talked about pass blocking. He's making business decisions. In 22, so last year he had multiple games that were in the sort of 90 to 100 yard space. In 22, he's only had one game over 80 receiving yards, and guess what? Obviously that was the Rams game, and that was probably the most. The one that contributed to that was that one that was nearly a pick six, where he just outjumped the rookie cornerback. Mind you, just a quick aside, both of the veteran cornerbacks are back this week. Or obviously CB2, CB3 are back this week for the Rams, so that's going to be a problem for us. And I just don't know if he. Yeah, I think his attitude's not great. Well, look, no, I can't say that. I don't know about his attitude, but his production's down.
Yeah, look, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, and I totally agree with you that this game of NFL at this kind of level is a game where you actually need to be a full participant in your off-season program. You need to be all in. You need to be, really, really putting everything aside so that you can focus on being a better version of yourself for the new season. And if there's any kind of distraction, whether it be through injury or contract related, and you're just a little bit off, it really the margin when the whips are cracking really opens up, and you can really see it. And that's probably what we're seeing at the moment in Deebo's production on the field.
And the drops have been, look, granted, last week, there was a couple of balls that were thrown not ideally, weren't too accurate. There's one behind, there's one high, which is what Jimmy does. But I don't think he'll play. I think they'll rest him. I think if I was Kyle Shanahan, I'd really sort of put a rocket up Deebo and say, look, mate, I'm going to give you the week off, and you need to really think about, your commitment, or, just go and have a look at your numbers compared to last year, because this year we're not seeing it. Yeah.
If there's nothing physical going on for him, which, like outside of the hamstring injury, I would lean more on the mental preparation and the mental attitude towards what we do in our game plan that I would probably be honing in on if I was Kyle Shanahan, to go get your mentals right, mate. Like go and I don't care what it is, but you need to when you come back here and the hamstring's right, we need to see the mental side of your application on the field and in the study room from week to week. Like it just needs to be there.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall in the wide receiver room.
Yeah.
In any of those rooms at San Francisco, but especially in the wide receiver room, you've got Deebo, you got Dwan Jennings, you got BA. Who else you got? Willie Snead. Is he off, or is he still here?
Oh, I'm sure he'd be part of that room.
Yeah, Danny Gray, Ray McLeod. Yeah, it's a really talented bunch.
I mean, hopefully, if he doesn't play, hopefully it's an opportunity for Danny Gray.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's kind of that room's deep enough for that next man up mentality that it's time to go. It's time to do it.
Well, I guess the thing is, the big headline for me in this game, Jono, is that CMC has had a full week now of the playbook, and I'm not saying that he should be up perfect with it. Like, he was pretty good with having a couple of days to look at it. But now, with the defense, except for last week, has been some of the best in the league. They have got some of the most devastating offensive weapons in the game, but unfortunately, and I'm sort of, and this is something that I read on the Athletic today in a bit of a preview, and I'll sort of, this is verbatim from the Athletic, everyone, so these are not my words. The 49ers have one of the league's most talented rosters on paper and recently added another playmaker in CMC, just paraphrasing a little bit here. Combined with one of the league's best defenses, this is verbatim, the 49ers look like a Super Bowl contender at nearly every position on the field. The one exception is at quarterback, when Jimmy Garoppolo was again the one significant question and clear weakness. And I mean, look, Stafford's got his question marks as well. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns this year, 6 and 8 respectively. Jimmy is the and this brings to mind for me, we've got to get Tom Brady. That he was beaten again tonight. In Thursday Night Football, and I actually had a little something on the Ravens, which was a nice little. It was only 2-1. I mean, even money, but.
See, that's still easy money. I know we're talking betting wise, but I given everything that's going on at Tampa and like Brady looks ticked off. Like, I don't think there's any other way to describe it. He's just filthy. I mean, there was a lot of things that they get themselves down the field, and there was multiple occasions where it was the offensive line, like the false starting, the whole kind of that whole kind of aspect of the game that you have to get right. And the players were just letting him down around him, and he's not a happy man.
So he's breaking up with his wife. He's in Miami. He needs to come home. He needs to come home and be with mum and dad. Mum needs to make him a cup of tea and put a blanket around him and say, Tommy, it's okay. Come home and play with the 49ers. Because that would be a dream come true for me, for Tom Brady to come home. But anyway,
I mean, given that it's a 1 year, it would be this is a gun for hire.
This is a rental.
Absolutely, and the I guess the things that he could probably provide for Trey Lance off the field, it would make it a very appealing trade if they could manufacture something with Tampa Bay and offload Jimmy and do something like Tom Brady's been around football for so long that it doesn't matter that he hasn't seen the playbook. He can walk in there and go, "Yep, let's go.
He doesn't.
I know what you're doing. Let's go."
Yeah, he knows the Shanahan offense. My God. But again, just referring to the notes I took reading the article on The Athletic. How's this for a stat? So going to the other quarterback. So he's been sacked 20. He was only sacked 22 times in 17 regular season games last year, right? This is Stafford.
Yep.
While throwing 41 touchdowns. Pretty good. This year, he's on pace for 17 touchdowns and more than 60 sacks.
I've got him at 23. Is that right for the year so far?
Yeah. Yeah, hang on. I'll tell you how many times he's been sacked. Well, sorry.
That was been my little study. I was like, he's been sacked 23 times. And that'll probably come up in a key to victory because at any time when Stafford has been sacked 3 or more times this season, they've lost. And there's been 2 games where he was sacked 7 times. One of those was against the 49ers. That's crunch time.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into some key matchups. And I guess what I wanted to talk about is Christian McCaffrey and this is not a key matchup in regard to this is kind of a double weapon for Kyle using Christian McCaffrey along with JWJ. JWJ last week he only had 1 less than CMC, 7 carries, 54 yards, 7.7 yards per carry. CMC 8 carries, 38 yards at 4.8. Granted, a couple of days with the playbook.
But JWJ looked like a dog out there. Like he was not so fast, CMC. Like I'm still here.
Who do you think you can go get this white boy? But I'm still dogging here, man. I am here and he showed it and he proved it.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a good running back. He knows where to go. I was chatting to Ted Hates today, and we're talking about Ty Davis Price coming in, and yeah, he just doesn't have the vision. These rookies don't have the vision that
there's a couple of cut ups of the missed opportunities that TDP had on just some cutbacks where the lanes were created for him. So that'll all come in experience. I mean, I'm sure that's part of the week, isn't it? It's teach the tape.
That's part of the massive week. Yeah.
You know what I like about Christian? I don't know if you're going to get there around the fact that McCaffrey's played these guys 2 weeks ago. So as much as it's like, okay, he's got another week in the offense. He's also got another week in the offense where he can apply what it was that the Panthers were kind of building around, what they needed him to do, as well as what worked for them and what didn't work in their game plan, so that he could probably have some input on, this is what really caused them problems. Like this is a guy that he went 13 rushes for 69 yards at 5.3 against the Rams. And then he had 7 of 8 receptions for 89 yards. So he had 158 all-purpose yards against the Rams in a beaten team that are not anywhere near the 49ers, even if the 49ers limp into this one without Deebo and Jennings and the like in the offense and Juice. Like I just think, like if he can repeat that kind of performance on this team, we win.
Yeah. Tell me again. So he had how many receptions?
He had 7 of 8 receptions. So he had 8 targets. He got 7 of them, and he went for 89 yards.
And then the running,
13 rushes for 69 at 5.3 yards a carry.
That's 21 plays. When you think about it, some teams run the ball 21 times. And so that's a big load. He must be supremely fit.
Yeah,
supremely. What an athlete.
Yeah, but if he's having 13 rushes, like I'd expect Jeff Wilson Jr. to be having around the same number.
Yeah.
And if he's chewing off, even if he's chewing off at 4 yards a carry, at 13 runs, that's around the 50-yard mark, which means that we're sort of popping around 120 yards rushing. Like that's definitely winnable numbers when you sort of look at it from that side.
So I guess let's go. Oh, we'll go to
my key match. That's a key matchup in terms of the Rams defensive line against a rushing attack of the 49ers that includes Jeff Wilson Jr., who did a great job against them in the first time the first time that he played them, and Christian McCaffrey now added to the backfield. Like, what do you do? I know we're down juice, but I do also think that we've got some tight ends that are fielding there at fullback for us in the past. He can be part of that. I just feel like we're in a good position.
Well, their offensive line this year, they've allowed 22 sacks. Oh, so he's been sacked 22 times, right?
Yeah.
And an above 33.9% pressure rating. So, out of 60 dropbacks, he's got a pressure every 1 in 2. So they're not great offensively. So, that is a key matchup.
Yeah. And on top of the interceptions, they've been Fumbleville as well. Like, there's fumbles. Like, I don't think I've seen a team. I was sort of going through the stats, and they had fumbles for 4 weeks in a row. Like, that's cruel stuff. You can't do that in the game.
What about? It was kind of so. If Deebo's not playing right at WR1, it's going to be a BA, right? BA. So I guess the key is BA versus Ramsey, Jalen Ramsey.
Yep.
Because they did a lot of work on the NFL preview about BA. I mean, Deebo and Ramsey. And Ramsey had one of his worst games, I thought, against the Niners. Since then, he's been pretty phenomenal. So just going back to Ramsey, a few notes I took on his numbers. So let's have a look what he's done. Where's Ramsey? Can't even see him. I'll put him in there. Anyway, I'll move on.
I mean, Jordan Ramsey's a good player. He probably hasn't. Pardon?
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey.
Sorry, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah, he's a good player. Like he probably hasn't played well against the 49ers in outings against them. And I think the 49ers had a bit to say at him, so I'm sure he'll be out to sort of prove himself.
So from week 2 to 6, aside from that shitty game that he had against us, he's held QBs to a 56 rating. That's phenomenal. And only a completion percentage of 53.3. So BA up against him is going to be super key. Yeah. I think, Jalen, despite his size, is very, very physical. He likes to hit and stick and dump. And I don't, if I was to pick a winner between those two now, it'd have to be Jalen Ramsey based on the experience that Jalen has, and I guess BA not coming up against him. So, what are your thoughts on that little matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree. Jalen Ramsey probably holds the cards at this point until BA shows otherwise. But even like, and if we can get out of that in sort of a drawn scenario, I still think that we have the weapons through Kittle. I think Christian McCaffrey, if they can use him like like in the slot a fair bit, kind of like how I think initially we used Trent Taylor. Like that's where Christian McCaffrey can be used in that pass game. If they can sort of be set up, in that two guys in the backfield. If you've got Jeff Wilson Jr. and Christian McCaffrey in the backfield, then you motion out pre-snap to Christian McCaffrey in the slot. Then you've got another option there to take sort of some of the pressure off BA to have to produce as much as he can. I still think that BA can be used in the underneath screen pass game where you kind of allowed to get the ball in his hands before Ramsey's on him, and just let him do his thing and get our offensive line out in front of him. I would probably use, if I was Kyle Shanahan, I would probably use Brandon Aiyuk in the same capacity to use as Deebo Samuel.
Of course, I can't agree more. But I think it'll be a tougher assignment. But he's heating up. Like each game, as you know, I know we say this all the time, but last week he had 11 targets, 7 catches, and some of those passes weren't great. But 82 yards. And in 2022, he's got a rating of 55 yards per game, which is more than Kittle, but he's definitely going to be part of our offense. If we are going to win this game, he's going to have a good game.
Yep.
The other one, Shavarius Ward versus, let me just put this one up. Mooney v. Who do you think? Yes. Good Cupp.
Yeah. Is it going to be Mooney versus Cupp? Like, is it like? I mean, if I'm the Rams, I'm probably lining Cupp up right in the slot, and forcing the 49ers to have to use someone like if Jimmy Ward. I mean, Jimmy came out this week and kind of was nonplussed about the fact that he's being used in the slot. Jacoski Tart, former safety and teammate, even came out to his defense and he even, I think he liked a tweet and retweeted and commented on a comment from Grant Cohen, who he's not friends with, just to sort of reiterate. I don't agree with you a lot, but I'll agree with you on this. Like that the 49ers are costing Jimmy Ward some money by playing him at nickel, because he's not that's not his strength. I mean, you and I are brought up in a, I don't know, in a coaching sense that you never weaken a position to strengthen another. So your best safety on your team is Jimmy Ward. Don't put him at nickel. Like you got to find another way to work that out. So I'm a little bit confused about that decision, and potentially the Rams are looking at that and going, well, you know what? Let's make Jimmy Ward really feel the pinch of that, and let's put Cupp in the slot and just have him running out from tight sets around the line of scrimmage and allowing Cupp to do what he does best.
And he'll be unbeatable. You won't beat him. Jimmy won't beat him.
Yeah. And that's going to nullify Mooney Ward from doing anything.
Yeah. Then I guess Stafford's second target is Tyler Higbee, right? The tight end. He's not a bad footballer. He's not as good as a Kittle or a Kelsey. I'll give you some of his numbers. Where's he at? I should have these bloody highlighted, mate.
I mean, and same as their third choice option is Allen Robinson, isn't it? That they got from the Bears, who they were kind of probably expecting bigger things from. I know. So I think he had a touchdown recently. Like Robinson seems to be like, to me, I kind of see him as a bit of an X factor. Like he's a good player. He just hasn't really hit his straps at all.
Why they took him away from Justin Fields, who is showing some upside at the moment, is a mystery to me. But yeah, so Tyler Higbee's number 2 to Stafford. Stafford's number 2 receiver, 5.7 receiving, 5.7 receptions per game, and he's got an average of 50 yards per game. So that's not bad that's about 7 yards per catch, right?
Yeah.
Some other key matchups, mate.
Like Allen Robinson last week, like I had 6 targets. He was 5 of 6 for 63 yards with a touchdown. So they're kind of incorporating him into the game a little bit more. So yeah, I expect that could be someone who's so that we need to sort of look out for as well.
Yeah, the other one, mate, the couple of defensive one now, mate. This is one
us defensively.
Well, no, it's Bosa v. Stafford. He sacked him twice last game. Bosa has 7 sacks this year. He's on track for, what are we in, week 8? He's probably on track for 19, 20 sacks, which will be huge for him. He wasn't as effective last week, and as we both talked about, I think you brought it up, Jono, that that Kansas City let the aggressiveness of our defense, they use it against them. Do you think the defense of the Rams have taken notes?
Oh, I'd expect they would, and I don't think the Rams will change too much in terms of the way that they play historically in their games. Yes, it is an opportunity. I don't think that the Rams tackles are as good as what the Chiefs tackles are, even though I don't think the Chiefs tackles had been grading that well up until the game that they played us. I know that the offensive line for the Rams is still pretty darn beaten up, and they were significantly beaten up against us. They were down to their third string center. I think they're back to their second string center at the moment. But they are pretty beaten up. This will be the mark of a player, and we sort of talked about it earlier that this week should be a lot about learning from the film. So when things don't go your way and you don't play too well, or you have somebody sort of bleed out your weaknesses right on national television, that's an opportunity. You've got two ways to do it. You can either go and curl up in a hole in the corner, or you can lay it all bare and go, okay, what is it that we can improve on, and what are the things that we can do better to I guess to negate that kind of situation happening again. I believe Bosa is a first class player, and he's a tremendous athlete, and I think that he can take what has happened and flip the script a little bit. And I think he should have that fire in his belly to get out there. Now, we had 7 sacks against them last time, and I expect Bosa to be featuring heavily in that. I know that our interior defensive line is down. I think in that game against the Rams, we had Javon Kinlaw and Eric Armstead to our at least available in that game, and that's probably something that we're going to look to at least hold so that we can get in there. But I don't think the interior line for the Rams is that effective either. So hopefully that's an opportunity for Bosa to eat. So I give this one to Bosa.
Yeah. Well, as you said, we sacked him 7 times last week. Last time as a team that we played him. So, mate, let's go to some keys to victory. What are we going to have to do what's the playbook? What's the plan? How are we going to beat the Rams for the 8th time in a row?
I think I run it back how we did against them in week 4 this season. And that's, again, like we talked about, short, quick passes underneath, screen game, end arounds, like that, the whole kind of package where it's not excessively past the line of scrimmage. That's the thing that's worked for us so well in the past. And now we've added an extra weapon. Yes, we're down Deebo, but we've got Christian McCaffrey there that probably negates, and he's able to do the things that Deebo can do in terms of getting the ball in his hands and letting him go. I think the run game's probably more effective. The offensive line is back intact. And I think we would be looking, hopefully, to run this ball down their throat. Last time we played them, we had 22 runs at 88 yards, at 4 yards a carry. I expect us to go back to that and run the ball more often. I would like to see us run the ball. I'm sure the message is going to be run. If we can run this ball 40 times, we'll win. And we've heard that before, and I expect them to go back to the well in terms of going back to what has worked for them in the past when the backs are against the wall. And I think their backs are a little bit against the wall this week in terms of the season ahead. And I think whenever they do that, they go back to the foundations of this team, and that is run the ball and jam it down their throat and keep on going back there over and over and over again and make them stop them. And I don't think they can if they can do it well.
Well, they've got a great 1-2 punch with Christian McCaffrey and Jeff Wilson Jr. I think if Kyle can use those two effectively, I was looking at some of the pass to to run scenarios in the last game that we played. The further the game goes on, the more Kyle starts passing. He had a really nice rhythm going in his opening script where it was about 65-35 pass to run respectively. So he's got to keep that up. I think a lot of this key to this victory is Jimmy and Kyle. I think if we're down at halftime, I don't give us much hope. Even though last year, round 18, we had to beat the Rams to get into the playoffs. Jimmy led us down the field and in overtime and got us the win. It hasn't been happening this year. So I think we need to get a formidable lead up in the first half. I think we've got to be winning by 17 points, which will be, a field goal and a couple of touchdowns. And then I think we've got to keep them at bay and hopefully score one more touchdown, a couple more field goals. Look, if hopefully, our right and left tackle are back, I don't think McGlinchey. I think McGlinchey's having a bit of a tough year.
He spoke this week about his season, and I think he acknowledges that in the big moments he's really let the team down. He's let himself down. He's let the team down.
Yeah.
And these are all things that I, from a sort of sports sense and from the psychology of a player, you do like to hear. You don't like this. You like to hear them acknowledge that kind of thing and own it and go, I've got to be better. And now sort of you laid that bare, and now it's about going out there and showing it.
Because remember, the Rams are coming off a bye, so they're going to be. There's two ways they can go. They're nice and fresh and relaxed, or they're going to be a little bit nervous. They're playing the Niners, and they're going to be scratchy, and they might panic. I don't know, but
same as us. I mean, we've got the bye next week. Is that correct?
That's right.
So what we should be doing is going. We need to get into this and get out here with a win. Rest ourselves up. Ice the wounds. Come back in a fortnight time, and now it is all eyes on the back end of the season. So this is an incredibly important game. Like you need to go. We need to go into this 4-4. Like we have to. And again, it's going to come down to how Kyle uses his weapons in a creative way, and I've just seen him do it time and time again where he's done that. I don't want to bash him because he has combined the run and the pass game really, really well, and I think he's really got to pull it out this week because we've got the weapons. We've added one of the best in the league. I personally think CMC's better than Deebo. I think he's a better player. He's got better hands. He's faster. He runs better routes. So as much as Deebo had a great season last year, and I think that was due to the fact they weren't ready for him to be in the backfield. I think CMC will prove his worth again tomorrow in terms of that trade. So yeah, they're my keys. But mate, if you got anything else, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Christian McCaffrey can run for 13 times for 69 yards at over 5 yards a clip for the Panthers against this Rams team, then he can do it. He can do it for the 49ers with that offensive line. There should be no challenge in that. Like in my mind, in terms of that. I mean, you've got to go out there and you got to hit it. But I just think, my goodness, if he was falling under that, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, and Kyle doesn't want to go into, and this team doesn't want to go into 2 weeks of vitriol, magnifying glass, lots of media. Look at these guys, 3-5. They've got all the weapons. What's going on with Kyle Shanahan? Is it Jimmy? They don't want to do it. So they've got to put this Rams team away.
I think early ticket sales had us at I think 60% of the tickets sold so far. The 49ers teams as well. So we're heading into SoFi. We're going to turn it red again. And hopefully that's a factor in the game too, because the faith will always show up.
He'll be on a hard count in some of those situations. Silent count, sorry.
Yeah. If we can keep Stafford, all the stats here say if Stafford is sacked for 3 or more times in a game and you can keep him under 70% completions, they lose.
Mate, he's way under 70% for the year. So
As an average, yeah, he's had 3 games over 72%.
Yeah.
The rest of them, when you keep him under that, he loses.
He's gone backwards. I wonder what the Rams guys are thinking about. But anyway, what's your final predictions, mate? What's any headline and a final score?
I think, the we're talking about Christian McCaffrey. Will be the headline being the arrival of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
In the 49ers, in terms of just being a game changer and a match winner for us against the Rams. And I'm going to say 49ers are going to get away with this one, 27-17.
Ooh, 10 points. My headline is similar to yours, but it's going to be more skewed towards Kyle finding his rhythm again because he's got a 1-2 punch again that I think really works. Like when he had Mostert, and who was in 2019? Mostert, I think it was Tevin.
And Breeder. He started with Breeder, and then he had Tevin Coleman, and
but he had a really good 1-2, 1-3 punch there, and if he can get that back, that's my headline, and I think we'll get the win, 24-21.
Very good.
So yeah, that's it, viewers. So look, we'll be back obviously for our best bet show tomorrow. We did have a winner last week on Ray McLeod again, getting the chocolates for us. So we'll see you tomorrow, guys, for our best bet show. But for now, it's the preview is done. Jono has the Niners winning 27-17. I have the Niners winning 24-21. Some headlines: the arrival of Christian McCaffrey, and for me, it's Kyle gets his rhythm back. All right, mate. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, mate. Go Niners.
Go Niners.